The year my boyfriend was at his lowest, I broke up with him. Later, when he became successful, he used every trick in the book to force me to marry him. Everyone says I am his white moonlight, the wife he loves and cherishes the most. But ever since then, every single night, he brings different women home just to break my heart, making me a laughingstock in high society. I don't cry or throw a fit. I just live quietly in the study, never interrupting his fun. It drives him insane. He'll demand in a low voice, "Aren't you even jealous?" Little does he know, I'm terminally ill. Every day he spends getting his twisted revenge. I'm silently counting down, seeing how many days I have left to live. In my third year of marriage to Shen Yanzhao, he started sponsoring a college student, young, beautiful, and named Chu Chaoqiao. She has that fresh, adorable vibe, exactly the type Shen Yanzhao likes. He's kept her for over 6 months now. Aside from me, she's the woman who has stayed by his side the longest. Friends warn me to be careful. They say it looks like Shen Yanzhao has actually caught feelings for Chu Chaoqiao. The first time I met her was on my birthday. I'd been having nosebleeds since morning, so I went to the hospital for a checkup. The doctor said I might only live until next spring. I just nodded and whispered, "That's okay." I'm not afraid of dying, but I am a bit afraid of the pain. I heard there's an expensive medicine that could make my final days a bit easier, but the money in my bank account wasn't enough. So I went to Shen Yanzhao's company to find him, only to run into Chu Chaoqiao there. She had just graduated and was working as his secretary. Shen Yanzhao was in a meeting, so I waited outside. Chu Chaoqiao kept staring at me, whispering to her colleagues, "Is that really the boss's wife? She's so ugly, thin and haggard like a corpse. Everyone says I look like her. How? Where? I'm way prettier than she is." The polished glass reflected my silhouette. It was indeed hideous. Well, I am dying after all. A colleague pulled her arm and whispered, "You don't get it. The boss loves her if you piss him off. Watch out for your head. Word is Shen Yanzhao loves me deeply." Chu Kiao didn't buy it. She pouted and glared at me. She brought me a cup of tea and asked softly, "Sister Meng Meng, how can the boss bear to let you wait so long? Usually, whenever I come to see him, no matter how busy he is, he comes to me first. He says I'm the most important person to him." I thought he was that attentive to every woman. I thought about it. Shen Yanzhao really does treat Chu Chaoqiao differently. He has countless mistresses around him, but he uses them as tools to spite me. He brings a different one home every night, just to test my reaction over and over. He never keeps them for long. Maybe a day or two, or a couple of weeks at most. He gets bored very quickly. Except for Chu Chaoqiao. Shen Yanzhao set her up in an apartment, takes her out to eat, goes shopping, and sees movies with her. They look like a normal, lovey-dovey couple. He gives her money, but he also gives her love. I smiled at her and asked gently, "If you're so important, why would he let you be a side chick who can't see the light of day? You should talk to him properly. Tell him to hurry up and divorce me so he can bring you home. The one who isn't loved is the real mistress. You're the one who's extra here. You're only relying on the fact that you met him a few years before me, right? But now you're old and ugly. How can you compete with me?" Her colleague, likely afraid I'd lose it, rushed over to drag her away. Honestly, I was fine. I told myself long ago not to get angry because of him, not to let my heart break because of him, and certainly not to get jealous over another woman. He's not worth it. Chu Kiao stumbled as she was pulled, falling to the floor. The teacup in her hand shattered, cutting her palm deeply. Blood pooled onto the floor. Through the glass wall of the conference room, Shen Yanzhao saw she was hurt. Everyone watched as he threw his documents down, shoved the door open, and ran out. He scooped her into his arms and barked, "Who the hell did this to her?" The kind colleague backed away, pale with fear. I laughed coldly and said, "I did it, and she deserved it. I'm the one who deserves it. Who told me to love someone I shouldn't? Getting called a side chick and a mistress? But Mr. Shen, as long as you love me, I'll stay by your side forever. No one can tear us apart." Her crying was actually quite cute. Even when she said such delusional things, she looked brave and determined. Shen Yanzhao was charmed. He wiped her tears. "Be good now. You're crying like a messy little kitten." He really treats her differently. I looked down, not wanting to see more, and just said to him, "I need $300,000. It's funny, we're husband and wife, but we don't even have each other's contact info. Except to ask for money, I never seek him out. Before the wedding, we made a deal. He gets my body, I get his money. He's always hated me for being a gold digger. But in the past, whenever I asked, he'd give me whatever amount I wanted, usually more. Except this time. He said I could have the money, but on Meng, first, lower that arrogant head of yours, and apologize to Kiao. He wanted to use $300,000 to buy my dignity, to buy an apology for Chu Kiao. This was the first time he used money to humiliate me for another woman. I slowly clenched my fists, forced a smile, and suppressed the sudden surge of pain in my body. I turned to walk away. Forget it. I don't need the money. Suddenly, I was curious. Shen Yanzhao, if one day you found out this money could have helped me live a little longer, if you knew how much pain I was in before I died, what kind of face would you make? I went home alone and curled up under the blankets, shaking with cold sweats from the pain. I took some sleeping pills, lying to myself that if I fell asleep, the pain would disappear. In my hazy state, I had a dream. I dreamed of when I was 20. Shen Yanzhao was still dirt poor, but he loved me so much. On my birthday that year, we walked past a cafe and saw a couple sitting by the window. The girl was holding a small snowy white cake. It looked absolutely beautiful, delicious, and very expensive. I still remember how heavy the snow fell that day. I held up a handful of snow and smiled at him. Yanzhao, look, does this snow look like cake? Shen Yanzhao grit his teeth and pulled me into a tight hug, not letting me see that his eyes had already turned red. 3 days later, he showed up at my dorm, carrying a large cake. Buying that whole cake cost 900,000 Vietnamese dong, but standing on that freezing, snowy street, handing out 3,000 flyers only earned him 350,000 Vietnamese dong. I looked at the frostbite and cracks on his fingers and sobbed uncontrollably. Shen Yanzhao, your hands are meant for books, for writing, not for being ruined like this, just to make me happy. I simply don't deserve such an expensive gift. Shen Yanzhao frowned and immediately corrected me. Anmeng, you're the best girl in the world. You deserve every good thing this world has to offer. That day, I ate the whole cake while crying. It's been so long that I can't clearly remember the taste. All I know is that after that day, I don't think I've ever eaten a cake that tasted better than his. This sleep lasted a long time. In my grogginess, I heard the phone ring. I picked up and heard Shen Yanzhao on the other end. I gave a sweet, gentle smile and called him Yanzhao. The snow is so heavy, I want to eat cake. Without waiting for him to speak, I hung up and drifted back to sleep. I slept straight through until midnight. I was woken up by hunger. I went to the living room for food and realized Shen Yanzhao had actually come home. He had bought Chu Kiao a big house and they lived there together. Chu Kiao would cook for him, make him happy, and wait for him to come home. Shen Yanzhao was living the good life. He hadn't been back here in ages. He was leaning lazily against the floor-to-ceiling window, a cigarette in his mouth, staring at me. I looked down and tried to walk past him, but he suddenly grabbed me. Why have you gotten so thin? His tone was so gentle, as if he still loved me. I froze for a moment, then forcefully threw his hand off. He looked at his empty palm, his face gradually darkening. When I reached the dining table, I saw a cake covered in candles. Only then did I realize that phone call wasn't a dream. I said I wanted cake, so Shen Yanzhao went and bought one. What is this? A peace offering. But I'm literally about to die. I haven't needed a cake for a long time, and I don't need Shen Yanzhao anymore either. I picked up the cake and threw it straight into the trash. Shen Yanzhao clenched his jaw, using his hand to pin me against the wall. He hissed, "Damn it, are you playing me?" "Yeah, I'm playing you. So what? I say I want cake and you would just run out and buy it. Why are you still as pathetic as you used to be?" I intentionally stabbed at his heart. He aggressively put out his cigarette, dragged me into the bedroom, and threw me onto the bed. Shen Yanzhao must have been livid. I started to get scared. "Shen Yanzhao, you bastard, don't touch me. I think you're disgusting. Do you even know? When you told me you wanted cake, do you know how happy I was? And then you treat me like a damn joke." He looked up, his eyes bloodshot as he glared at me. I held back my tears, glaring right back. Shen Yanzhao leaned down, getting closer and closer to me, but the phone suddenly rang. It was Chu Kiao. Shen Yanzhao hesitated for a second, but he answered it anyway. I heard Chu Kiao crying, asking him, "Mr. Shen, are you really going to dump me for Sister Meng? You clearly like me. I'm at the bar right now. I've had too much to drink, and some guy is harassing me. Can you please come pick me up and take me home? And Meng beg me to stay. If you just beg me, I won't go." He seemed to have forgotten that a long time ago, I had already thrown away my pride. "Shen Yanzhao, can we just talk calmly for once? Can we stop fighting? Can we just be together peacefully? Can you treat me a little better? Meng, you don't deserve it." Those words had always been a knife in my heart, until today when I could finally return them word for word. I grabbed his collar and spat out, "Shen Yanzhao, you're the one who doesn't deserve it." He went silent for a moment, then let out a self-deprecating laugh. He put the phone to his ear and told Chu Kiao, "Wait for me, I'm coming to take you home." He didn't even give me a second glance. He stood up, slammed the door, and left. The next day, a photo of Shen Yanzhao getting into a massive brawl with another man over Chu Kiao went viral in their social circle. This was the first time his business with another woman became such a public scandal that everyone knew. Reporters were waiting outside our door. When I went out, they swarmed me with questions. "Mrs. Shen, regarding the situation between Mr. Shen and Chu Kiao, do you have anything to say? One is a man committing adultery. The other is a woman who knows she's a mistress, but does it anyway. What exactly do you want to hear from me? But I heard that back when Mr. Shen was dirt poor, you dumped him for money. The girl chased after me, pestering for more. Then after he became successful, you used his feelings to trap him, using every trick to marry him. Now that Mr. Shen has found true love, he and Kiao Kiao are a perfect match. You're the one stubbornly clinging to the title of Mrs. Shen, and you're calling the other person a mistress. Don't you think you're the one being a bully? I stopped in my tracks and grabbed the press badge around the girl's neck. She was an intern reporter. On the back of the badge holder, there was a student ID from Nanshan University. I calmly asked her, "You're Chu Chaoqiao's friend, right?" No wonder. Shen Yanzhao did everything he could to marry me. Did you really think I wanted to marry him? Everyone in our circle knows the truth. Either you're clueless, Sos, or you're just trying to help your mistress friend take my spot by intentionally coming here to smear me. Her expression shifted through several emotions as she panicked and snatched her badge back. She and I are friends, yes, but I am a reporter. Everything I say is objective and fair. If you really didn't want to marry Mr. Shen, then when he fell in love with someone else, why won't you just divorce him? I gave a faint smile, thinking of a response, when suddenly my nose started bleeding again. I must have looked pathetic. Someone mocked me. She claims she doesn't care about being Mrs. Shen, says she was forced to marry him. So why is she so worked up her nose is bleeding? I wiped the streak of blood from my lip with my finger and said calmly, "I'm not worked up. I'm just terminally ill and dying." Nosebleeds are a regular thing lately. The crowd went dead silent. No one was laughing anymore, except that girl who kept going. What a fake. A little nosebleed and she starts faking an illness to play the victim. I seriously can't stand women like you, acting like it's life or death just to fight over a man. After saying that, she tossed her ponytail and walked away. Her back looked so obnoxious, exactly like Chu Chaoqiao. I was surrounded by reporters. The interview video quickly hit the trending searches. Shen Yanzhao issued a formal response, stating officially that he would never divorce. Stop bothering my wife. That afternoon, Chu Chaoqiao's reporter friend was fired. Countless netizens were bashing me. This woman is disgusting. If she didn't want to marry him, then she shouldn't have. It's not like someone held a knife to her throat and forced her. Stop acting like you had no choice. And they call her the boss's white moonlight? She's a total white lotus. I'm actually jealous that the boss defends her like that. Plus, this woman dumped him for money before and now she married him for money too. Suddenly, a netizen cut in. Clean up your mouths. If you don't know the truth, then shut the hell up. Everyone started demanding to know what the truth was. The story is actually quite cliche. Years ago, my mother was diagnosed with an incurable disease. The doctor said the hereditary risk was very high. Not only could I fall seriously ill at any time, but if I were to marry and have children, my child likely wouldn't escape the risk either. The day my mom's illness flared up, she bled a whole basin's worth from her nose. She lost too much blood and was in a coma for 3 days. After she woke up, she told me to break up with Shen Yanzhao. I looked at her blankly and whispered, "Mom, he won't care about my illness." I said it as much to her as I did to myself. I know he's a good boy. You two have been in love since high school. He waited for you at the alleyway on his bike every morning. Did you think I didn't know? Once I saw him buy a meat bun for your breakfast. He only had 40,000 Vietnamese dong in his pocket. The bun was 35,000 Vietnamese dong. The remaining 5,000 Vietnamese dong went to 2 cups of soy milk. One for him, one for you. You were so gluttonous and oblivious back then. He lied and said he already ate. And you actually believed him while scarfing down that bun. Little Shen was so pitiful then. His parents were divorced and no one wanted him. They only gave him a tiny bit of allowance each month. He lived like an orphan. That 40,000 Vietnamese dong might have been his food budget for the whole day. Yet he didn't even hesitate to spend it all on you. Back then, I thought my daughter was so lucky to find such a good guy. And because he's too good, my heart aches for him. That year, Shen Yanzhao's grandmother fell ill and was hospitalized. He grew up with her. They were very close. To get the money for her treatment, he was working himself to the bone every day. My mother said Shen Yanzhao's wings were too fragile. Carrying his grandma and then you, he'll never be able to fly. I clenched my palms for a long time before my voice finally shook as I called out, "Mom, I can't bear to leave him." That was 15 years ago. Even now, it still hurts. I bought the persimmons my mother loved most, getting ready to visit the cemetery one last time. I'm dying. I have to tell my mom that I won't be coming by anymore. Before going, I stopped by Shen Yanzhao's company to get something. When my mom was alive, she always adored Shen Yanzhao. Before she got sick, Shen Yanzhao and I were still deeply in love. She went to a temple to pray and got 2 blessing dolls. A boy doll, with Shen Yanzhao's birth date hidden inside. A girl doll, with mine hidden inside, to pray for peace and health, to pray that those in love would stay together forever. Mom told me to give the blessing dolls to him. Shen Yanzhao wouldn't take his own doll. He insisted on taking mine. He said seeing it was like seeing me. He loved seeing me. That blessing doll, even now, was still kept on his office desk. I was afraid that after I died, Shen Yanzhao would toss it out like trash. It was something my mother got for me. I had to take it back to place it by her headstone to stay with her in my place. When I reached the company, Shen Yanzhao was watching the video of me from this morning. The one where my nose was bleeding and I said I was dying. When he saw me, he tossed his phone aside. He didn't say a word, didn't ask how I was. I looked at his desk. The spot where the blessing doll used to sit was empty. I turned and asked him, "Where is my blessing doll?" Chu Kao Kao followed me in. 2 days ago, I cut my palm. Mr. Shen was so worried. He said he couldn't stand seeing me hurt, so he gave that blessing doll to me. He even said the doll looked just like me, clumsy and silly, which he really likes. Sister Meng Meng, don't you think he's just talking nonsense? I'm so pretty. How could I look like that ugly doll? I clenched my fists and glared at Shen Yanzhao, demanding an answer. What right do you have to give my things to someone else? My mother prayed for that specifically for me. What right do you have? That blessing doll is yours? Sorry, I forgot. I thought it was just some cheap trinket. Before he could finish, I picked up the glass ashtray on the desk and hurled it at him. Shen Yanzhao didn't even flinch. The crystal ashtray hit his forehead, making it bleed. Are you crazy? Attacking me over a tattered doll? Chu Kiao Kiao ran out and quickly returned with my blessing doll in her hand. She threw the doll hard toward me and screamed in my face, "Here's your junk, take it back." No one cares about this cheap trash anyway. You think I actually wanted it? Stop being hysterical. Take your thing and get the hell out. The blessing doll hit the floor and shattered. I saw my name and birth date break into pieces, just like my own life. Pieces that could probably never be fixed again. My head was ringing. I raised my hand and slapped Chu Chao Kiao. I screamed like a mad woman, "That was my mother's! I care about it." Before I could finish, tears flooded out. I reached out to grab Chu Chao Kiao, but Shen Yanzhao caught my wrist, stopping me. My eyes were burning as I stared intensely at him. Crying and then laughing, I cursed him. "You know damn well I'm dying. Yet you still bully me, Shen Yanzhao? You really are a bastard. First it was the cake, now it's this dying thing. And Meng, do you really find it that fun to mess with me? You don't need to cry for me anymore. I'm not going to feel sorry for you." Before he could even finish his sentence, a drop of blood landed right on the back of his hand. My nose was bleeding again. This time, it was worse than ever before. My limbs went numb, and a wave of pain hit me so hard that I couldn't even stand. I collapsed right then and there. Shen Yanzhao rushed to catch me, screaming at the top of his lungs for an ambulance. He was completely helpless, watching the blood pour out of me, until it stained his entire shirt red. In my dazed state, I could hear Shen Yanzhao crying nonstop, asking the same question over and over. "Why won't it stop? Stop bleeding, Unmeng! Please, don't scare me!" I woke up to the smell of hospital disinfectant. I heard the doctor telling Shen Yanzhao she could have lived until next spring, maybe even a bit longer. But she said she ran out of money and stopped treatment. Now her condition is completely out of control. There's no point in continuing treatment anymore. Shen Yanzhao snapped back. "So what? You're saying is my wife is dying?" Without waiting for the doctor's response, his voice grew louder, turning into a desperate rage. "I want my wife to live. Damn it, if you can save her, do it. If you can't, then get the hell out." That day, Shen Yanzhao nearly tore the hospital room apart. He called in a team of specialists, saying he didn't care how much it cost as long as they kept me alive. But this terminal illness isn't something money can just fix. Shen Yanzhao became obsessed, refusing to listen to reason. He wanted to discharge me and take me abroad for treatment. With his wealth and power, no one at the hospital dared to stop him. Until my best friend, Lin Chaojiao, showed up with my living will. A long time ago, I had a document notarized, giving her full authority over my medical decisions. I told her, if one day I'm stuck in bed, unable to move, unable to eat or drink, don't let them torture me, just let me go. She knew better than anyone that I'm terrified of pain. Chaojiao swung her hand and slapped Shen Yanzhao across the face. She pointed at him and screamed, "Think your money makes you a god? Where the hell were you when she needed you? Now you want to act like the big boss? It's too late. You're too damn late. She's dying. You're not taking her anywhere. As long as I'm alive, she stays here." Shen Yanzhao looked at the will in her hands and froze on the spot. A long while later, I heard his choked up voice whisper, "Lin, Zhao Zhao, please let me take her. I'm begging you. Trust me. She can live. I owe her too much. She can't just die. If she dies, what am I supposed to do? A cold-hearted man like you can live just fine without anyone. Stop faking this devoted lover act. It's disgusting and it makes me sick." She shoved Shen Yanzhao aside, sat by my bed, and took my hand. The moment she opened her mouth, tears started falling. She asked me, "Do you really not want to live anymore?" Her crying made me sad too. I wanted to reach out and wipe away her tears to tell her not to worry about me. I'm just about to go on a very long sleep, a very peaceful one. Once I'm asleep, the pain will finally be gone. Just wake up one more time. Okay? You were the one who said, we have to say a proper goodbye so there are no regrets. You haven't said goodbye to your mom or to me. How can you be so heartless? My tears fell along with hers. The heart monitor suddenly started beeping. The doctor rushed in and told Zhao. Zhao too keep talking to me. He said I was showing signs of waking up. That day, Zhao Zhao gripped my hand so tight, she didn't even dare to take a sip of water. She talked to me nonstop, laughing and crying all at once. It was actually kind of scary. I had intended to just drift away, but she made such a scene that I felt like a jerk if I didn't wake up to comfort her. I fought against my broken body with everything I had. By midnight, I finally managed to open my eyes. For the next 2 weeks, Zhao Zhao never left my side for a second. She took care of me like she was possessed, feeding me, helping me to the bathroom. She almost tried to pull my pants down for me too. I was getting anxious. I just wanted to get better quickly. If this kept up, Lin Zhao Zhao was going to lose her mind. Taking advantage of a moment when she wasn't in the room, I tried to go to the bathroom on my own. No one was there to help, but I figured I'd be okay. Turns out, as I was walking out, my legs gave way and I fell hard. I hit the sink so hard that my face was covered in blood. I struggled to crawl back up, accidentally pulling down the cloth covering the bathroom mirror. I looked up and saw a terrifying face. Shen Yanzhao rushed in, holding me tight to block my view. I only stepped out to pay the bill for a second. Where the hell did Lin Zhao Zhao go? Useless. I couldn't push him away, so I just frowned and cut him off. Stop bad-mouthing Zhao Zhao in front of me. I don't want to hear it. Shen Yanzhao shut up instantly. He grabbed a stack of tissues to wipe my face. Seeing the blood, his eyes reddened. Why didn't you tell me sooner that you were sick? What is your mouth even for? You could have been cured, don't you know that? And Meng, why do you always have to be so stubborn? I replied flatly, because I don't need you anymore. So whether you knew I was sick, doesn't matter to me at all. Honestly, I never intentionally hid it from him. My medical results were always right there on the table, somewhere he could see just by looking down. But he never looked, not even once, during those months. When I was wasting away, Chu Kiao Kiao had appeared by his side. Shen Yanzhao started staying out all night because of her. So he never saw the countless times I collapsed on the floor, writhing in agony. He turned back and mocked me. Right, An Meng. You're so capable, aren't you? You dump me whenever you feel like it. You kick me out whenever you want. I know you don't need me, fine. But the thing is, I need you. I didn't say anything, I just closed my eyes and pretended to sleep. Shen Yanzhao still didn't know the real reason I broke up with him back then. When he became successful and came back for me, saying he wanted to marry me, I owed him a proper explanation. I had planned to tell him everything. I wanted to tell him that when we broke up, all those cruel things I said were just lies. You're a good man, you deserve the best girl in the world. They will have a happy family together. I've rehearsed these words countless times, hoping I could smile and say to Shen Yanzhao, please be truly happy in the future. No one knows how many times I cried in the dark. I truly regret that the girl who gets to spend her life with you, why couldn't it be me? The day I finally composed my feelings, I went to find Shen Yanzhao. He was discussing business at a club. He probably wasn't in the state for a real talk. His voice sounded drunk. After hanging up, I was worried, so I decided to head over there anyway. I arrived at the club and had to search room by room until I looked through the glass pane of a door and found him, but I only saw him holding another woman in his arms. I pushed the door open and walked in. He turned his head and saw me, not looking panicked in the slightest. Holding back tears, I asked him, Shen Yanzhao, are you playing me? He pushed the woman away, reeking of alcohol, approached me, and pinned me against the wall. He reached out to wipe my tears. I only intended to mess with you a little, but seeing how pathetic your life was when I went to your house that day, I felt soft-hearted, An Meng. How about I actually marry you? It's just that I don't love you anymore. So you better be well-behaved. No crying, no making scenes. I have many mistresses. If you keep getting jealous, it's going to be a real bother. Hearing Shen Yanzhao say he didn't love me anymore, my tears kept falling. Taking a deep breath, I forced myself to stay calm and whispered, Shen Yanzhao, I only came to tell you that. I don't plan on marrying you. Breaking up back then was because my mother forced me. Before I could finish, he suddenly gripped my chin hard. He hissed, don't you damn well mention your mother to me. You don't need to push all the blame onto her. Both of you were equally money hungry. Neither of you is any better. Reeking of booze, he threatened me. An Meng. Me saying I want to marry you isn't a negotiation. You'd better be grateful and just accept it. He said he didn't want to hear my explanations. However much I made him suffer before, he would make me suffer 10 times. Worse. To him, that was the only way. It would be fair. I looked at his face and felt such a sense of estrangement. Perhaps the kindness my mother and I showed him before was truly just one-sided. Maybe I should have held on to him back then, letting him be burdened, and letting poverty crush his will. The old me was truly too foolish, so foolish that even I pity myself. He continued, I heard. Lin Zhaozhao used to be a hostess at a club, and yet she still found a decent boyfriend. Tell me, if that man knew Lin Zhaozhao used to be a hostess, would he still want her? I was so angry my whole body trembled. I swung my hand and slapped Shen Yanzhao, calling him a complete bastard. And Meng, to get revenge on you, I can do things much more bastardly than this. If you don't believe me, you can try me. Shen Yanzhao plays dirty. I didn't dare try. I was afraid of ruining the good life Xiao Zhao had worked so hard to get. I could only convince myself that since my life was already trash, dying anywhere would be the same. If he wanted a marriage, fine. This revenge had lasted a long time. Assuming Shen Yanzhao was tired of playing around and wanted to make up with me, I realized I didn't love him anymore. I had fallen and my face was swollen like a pig's, which I couldn't possibly hide from Lin Zhaozhao. She was furious. For the next 2 days, no matter what I did, she gave me a lecture. She scolded me until I cried. I buried myself under the covers and yelled back, You brat, you're way too mean. You only know how to bully me. If you're so tough, take me to see my mom. You wouldn't dare talk back to her. Cao Cao went silent for a long time. She stroked my hair, her voice softening as she coaxed me. Wait until you've recovered, and I'll take you to see her, okay? I knew she was lying. I also knew I wouldn't get better, but I couldn't bear to make her worry. So I just smiled and nodded. Okay, I said, and started trying harder to recover. I took handfuls of pills and got so many injections that my arms were covered in bruises. Shen Yanzhao stood by watching, gritting his teeth before slamming the door and leaving. At night, I heard him arguing with Zhao Zhao. And Meng wants to visit her mother. Do you not understand? Would it kill you to let her go just once? God, I think you actually want her to die early. You absolute bastard! You think she's lived too long and is delaying your mistress? Taking her place, right? I secretly wiped away my tears, hating myself for being a living burden, putting Zhao Zhao in such a difficult position. I stopped asking to visit my mom, but my spirit began to wither. I started sleeping for long periods, with fewer and fewer moments of clarity. I thought it was time to say a proper goodbye to Zhao Zhao. It must have been that final surge of energy, because even though the pain intensified in the following days, my mind felt clearer than ever. Word must have reached Chu Qiaoqiao that I was recovering because she couldn't sit still. She took advantage of a time when Shen Yanzhao wasn't there to come to the hospital to find me. The moment Zhao Zhao saw her, she started cursing. No dogs or side chicks allowed. You better get lost right now, or I'll beat you so hard your own mother won't recognize you. Sister Meng, I'm already pregnant with Mr. Shen's child. Since you're dying anyway, I'm begging you to be a good person for once. Give my child back his father. She was 3 months pregnant. I had been sick for 3 months, it turns out. While Shen Yanzhao claimed he needed me, the moment he turned his back, he was in another woman's arms, drowning in pleasure. It made sense. What would he need a dying woman for? He was just lying to me all along. Luckily, I didn't believe him. Chu Qiaoqiao cried while reaching out to grab my arm. I truly had no strength left, and was nearly dragged off the hospital bed by her. Thankfully, Zhao Zhao shielded me, though she got scratched a few times. Suddenly, someone grabbed Chu Qiaoqiao by the hair and yanked her away. Shen Yanzhao was gritting his teeth, looking like he wanted to tear her apart. He roared, "Didn't I tell you? If you dare touch my wife, damn it, I'll kill you." Chu Qiaoqiao's face went pale. Just as she was about to speak, Zhao Zhao grabbed a nearby pillow and threw it straight at them, screaming in a breakdown, "Take this bitch. Get the hell away from me." Shen Yanzhao dragged Chu Qiaoqiao away. He told me to wait for him to come back so he could explain. Who'd wait for him? I didn't care in the first place. Zhao Zhao looked down at me, asking softly, "Meng Meng, are you okay? Do you feel sick anywhere?" I clutched my chest, pretending to be sad just to act spoiled with her. My heart hurt so much, I need to go shopping to feel better. I managed to make her laugh. Since I seem to be doing pretty well lately, she agreed to take me out. I bought a roasted sweet potato and brought it into her car. She's a total neat freak who never lets anyone eat or drink in her car. I use my patient status as an excuse to gobble it down right there. There. Sweet potato crumbs fell all over the seat. Then Chow Chow grit her teeth but pretended not to see. I gave her directions to a high-end bridal shop. She's getting married this spring, but I probably won't make it. I wanted to see her in a wedding dress before I go. She didn't even ask why I brought her there. She just followed me in with red-rimmed eyes. I picked out a dress for her. Strapless satin gown. My taste is top tier. Zhao Zhao looked absolutely stunning in it. I took a photo with her, acting as if I'd actually be there, to walk her down the aisle. I asked if she wanted to buy it. She shot me a look, whispering that buying it was way too expensive and just taking photos was enough. I smiled. I let her admire herself in the fitting room and stepped out to quietly pay the bill. She's the best girl in the world. She deserves the best dress on earth. Suppressing the tearing pain in my chest, I left the bridal shop and took a taxi to the cemetery to see my mom. Zhao Zhao, this time it's really time to say goodbye. No kidding. No crying aloud. After Unmeng passed away, Shen Yanzhao kept wondering, when she signed the organ donation papers, what exactly was she thinking? He never imagined that the day he dragged Chu Qiaoqiao away would be the last time he ever saw Unmeng. He started to regret not telling her the truth back then. Chu Qiaoqiao really was pregnant, but the baby she was carrying wasn't his. That night at the bar, she got wasted, was dragged into a restroom, and was taken advantage of. By the time Shen Yanzhao arrived, it was too late. Chu Qiaoqiao was a pro at playing the victim. She claimed she only got drunk because she couldn't handle alcohol, and that if Shen Yanzhao hadn't made her sad, none of this would have ever happened to her. Shen Yanzhao knew she was guilt-tripping him, but seeing her cry so pitifully, he suddenly thought of Unmeng. He softened up, helped her put that scumbag in jail, and gave her money for an abortion. But he couldn't give her anything more than that. He always thought Qiaoqiao was a well-behaved girl even if he'd spoiled her a bit. At least she listened to him. He never expected to be raising a greedy, venomous snake that would bite him the moment his guard was down. It hurt. He figured Unmeng must have hated him when she died. Then he thought she was the one who dumped him first. So what right did she have to hate him? In his dreams, he asked her over and over, "Why did you break up with me? You still love me, didn't you?" The next second, Lin Zhaozhao would pull Unmeng behind her, pointing at his face and screaming, "Damn it! Where the hell were you before?" When she wanted to talk, you wouldn't listen. Now that she's dead, you come asking, "Are you actually this pathetic?" Then Shen Yanzhao would wake up in a cold sweat. He wasn't afraid of Lin Zhaozhao. He was afraid of hearing Unmeng say she had stopped loving him long ago. His heart began to fail. Doctors told him not to grieve too much. He said he wasn't. He was calm. He even started gardening. On the balcony, there were pots of succulents that Unmeng used to grow. When he found them, they were all dried up and dead. He heard succulents were hardy, so he wanted to see if he could bring them back to life. Every evening when he got home, he would sit in front of those pots and talk to them. He remembered a sunny afternoon when Unmeng did the exact same thing. She had been squatting there, hugging her knees, only to turn around and see him bringing another woman home. Shen Yanzhao gave himself a hard slap. He started to distort his own memories. In those memories, whenever Unmeng looked lonely, he added his own shadow next to her. He would hold her tight, kiss her gently, and stay by her side forever and ever. Later, at a party, he was punched by a guy. "I caught you cheating on your wife behind her back. Are you insane? You were always swapping out the women by your side? So what right do you have to judge us? Do you even have the right to say that?" He broke down, smashing the club room to pieces, screaming that they were all lying. I clearly loved my wife the most, until someone dug up a photo of him and Chu Qiaoqiao kissing. He fled the scene in a daze. He thought he must have been framed. He had to think of how to explain this to his wife. He didn't want to make her angry. Being angry is bad for your health. He rushed home, and as he stepped out of the elevator, he found someone with a baby bump standing at his door. He seemed to recognize her. She was the one from the photo. Fear surged through him. Did this woman go to see his wife? Did she say something stupid to upset her? He grabbed her by the hair and dragged her into the stairwell. He choked her, watching as fresh blood stained the stairs. Shen Yanzhao smiled. Good. No one else can ruin the relationship between him and Unmeng now. 2 weeks later, Shen Yanzhao was committed to a mental asylum. His speech and actions seemed normal enough, but the only weird thing was that he would always talk to a shattered blessing doll and call it his wife. The doll was in tatters, with a piece missing from its chest, like it was missing a heart. Shen Yanzhao kept it by his bed, staring at it and smiling. He asked his wife, "Why haven't you visited me yet? I really miss you." "And you? Do you miss me?" A moment later, his eyes turned red, muttering to himself, "I forgot. How can someone without a heart know how to miss anyone?" He suddenly remembered that a long time ago, he had already lost Unmeng's heart forever.